Hey everyone, this is Sandeep back with 100 days of coding React and Redux. In this part of the video, we will continue to build our note taking app, API integration basically. And today we'll see how we can edit our note and integrate it with the API, and how to update the note and how to delete the note. So if I go back to my code, right, we have we are done with our getting all nodes and creation of node, right? So the next thing which I want to do, so get all nodes, create node, I'm going to put another function here called edit or update node, right? So we already have this function, right? We just need to integrate with the API. So update node, and obviously we are getting the new node back. But in our case, right, whichever node I am updating, I just need the ID. Obviously, I need the value also, right? So how this update node function is coming? So you know that hierarchy, right? So our node list has the list of nodes. Inside that we have the node, and inside that we have handle edit node, right? Where we have the edit node view, and we are passing all those values. Okay, I think that's a long hierarchy. I know that, and we are going to fix that soon. But how to update the node? That's what we need to do, right? So to update the node, obviously we're going to use axios. So this function I need to convert into an async function, first of all. Okay, so I'm getting the node which I want to update, and I'll be using, so let's say const response is equals to await, and then I'll say axios dot. For updating the node, we use a function called put, and we need to pass the URL, this URL, and we need to append the ID of the node, right? So I need to tell the API, the JSON server, the APIs which has been exposed by JSON server, which node I want to update. So for that, I'm going to use my string literal, template literal syntax, and I'm going to append the ID using the edit node dot ID, edit node dot ID. So inside my node, right? So if I go to db.json file, you see that each node is having an ID, right? So that's what I'm going to get. And I need to check whether I'm getting the ID or not. Yes, I'm getting the ID only. That's the property or attribute name. And I'm passing it put. And I need to pass the new note also, which we want to edit. So I'll pass that edit note also to the backend API, right? Okay, so which nodes to edit, right? And the title and the text value also I'm passing here, right? Or maybe I'm passing the entire edit node. Instead of that, I'll grab, I'll create the new object, right? Because instead of sending the entire object, I'll say edit node dot title, and the next one is text. So I'm going to say edit node dot text. Okay, and the ID is getting passed here. Okay, this is looking good. So finally, I'm going to get the response. So let's see if we are able to edit the node or not. So I'm going to comment all of this for now, and let's see the response first. Console.log response. What response we are getting? I'm going to save my application. Refresh. We are getting all the nodes. I'll open the console. I have my console here open. Okay. Now let's try to edit this node only, right? So I'm going to change it to node 1, node 1, node 1 text. Let me try to update it. Let's see what happens. And we are getting error. Console.log is not a function. Okay, I did something wrong with my. So let's see, app.js line number 35. Okay, I did a mistake here. Save and refresh. It's already edited, right? Let's try to edit again. So this I'm going to give node11, node11.text. I'll update. See that we are getting the response where we are getting the data, and the node has been updated, right? So probably we can target the data. We're going to check if we are getting the data back in that case, right? And now I need to somehow update the state, right? So you can see the node 11 and node 11 text is not coming here, right? So I need to update my state also. So we are getting the response back. Now I'm not writing any code related to error handling or checking whether we are getting the data back or right data back or not, correct data back or not. There will be another project where we will write code related to error handling and checking the validity of data and all those things. This is a simple project, so we have been step by step. So here I'm going to uncomment this code. This is the code we are going to use, right? So maybe I'll call this as updated nodes, right? We are getting the updated nodes back, and I'm looping, and instead of so now we are going to use a response. Instead of node.id, we are going to use a response.data.id, because that is the node, right? We are getting, and then we are updating the data here, right? And we are updating our state. So I'm keeping the same code which we had previously, and that will update the state and it will show the updated node also. So I'll go back to the application again. Let's refresh. Okay, let's try to edit this one only. I'll remove one from here, update. See that? Node 1 text. Let's try to update this one just for testing purpose. Update. See that? It's getting updated. Cool. If I refresh also, right? Node 1, node 22, node 22, we are getting the right data back from the API. Cool. So the final thing that we need to do is deleting of a node, right? So we already have a function delete node here, which I need to integrate with the API. So let's quickly convert this function into an async function. We are getting the ID here, right? And obviously I'm going to grab the response and I'll say axios dot, this time I'm going to use delete function because we want to delete the node. And the syntax or the URL which we need to send will be similar to how we did in case of updating the node, because I need to send the ID of the node, right? Which node I want to delete. So that ID I'm going to append to my URL. Okay, so we are saying delete nodes with this ID, and let's see what response we are getting back. So I'm going to comment this for now. And let's log the response first. Console.log response, save, go back to the application, refresh. Let's try to delete this node, maybe node 22. See that we are getting the promise back. Node 22, calling the delete function, and I'm logging the response because I'm getting the promise back here. The reason is, I haven't used the await syntax here. I made the function async, but I didn't use await. That's why we are getting the promise back. So we need to wait until this delete action has been finished. So I'll go back again. I'll refresh my application. Let's try to delete node. And the node has already been deleted, right? If you see here, let's try to delete node number 3. See, we are getting the response back, data, and we are not getting anything back in data. We don't have, that's an empty object. We are just getting back this status. And later on, we are going to use all of this status and status text, just to handle the response. I mean, whether we are getting the error or the success response. So somehow now after deleting, right, I need to update my nodes, right? So for that, I have already written a function here, right? Let's uncomment this. And I'm going to change this to updated nodes, right? And we're going to set nodes using the updated one. Nodes.filter I'm using, and node. I think that should work. This should refresh everything. See, I'm not doing any error handling here. I'm just directly updating the nodes. Okay. So save, I'll go back and let's try to delete node 1. See that? I'm able to delete the node and all the nodes are deleted. I can go back and see my db.json file also, and we don't have anything in that. Cool. So let's test the application a little bit. I'm going to add another node, test1 text, submit. Okay, the node is getting added, but I want to clear this, right? So let's quickly clear this part also, right? So when I'm adding a node, I'm not clearing my inputs. So I'll go to node.js, not node.js. I need to go to add node.js, right? And inside this, when I am adding a new node, right? After just adding a new node, I need to set title to empty because I'm passing the data, right? And after that, I'm setting the set text to empty string. Save, go back, refresh. Let's try adding a new node, test2, 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 text. And if I submit, see that the node is coming here and our inputs are also getting empty, or we're getting the blank value. Okay, so I can see I can edit the node also. Let's try to edit, update. Okay, the node is also getting edited. Can refresh and the new nodes are coming, and updated nodes are coming. It seems like the functionality is working fine, right? So I would say, I can conclude that our node taking app is working fine. We are able to add a new node, we are able to update the node, we are able to edit the node, and we are able to delete the node also. So I hope you enjoyed, creating the entire application first without the API integration and then with the API integration. This is pretty much similar to how we develop application in real world also. This is simple application, but I'm going to come up with complex projects also. But we need to start simple, right? And then we can move to the beginner to intermediate to advanced level. So I think this is it for this series. Series of video for this application. I'll come back with more videos in 100 days of coding React and Redux. Until then, you take care. Goodbye. And thanks for watching the video.